Hello, Como Zoo Facebook world. Welcome to Como Live, funded by the Legacy Amendment. My name is Michelle and I'm one of the primate keepers here at Como Zoo. Behind me you see Virgil, so he's ready for his big debut. So for those of you who don't know, today is World Gorilla Day. So we're here to celebrate our gorilla friends. So right behind you here, we see some browse on the ground. So I'm going to be giving them some browse, which is one of their favorite enrichment items. So I'll be giving some of this to them and then I'll tell you a little bit more about our gorillas. Hey, buddy. Dara's not so sure of her big debut here. So that was all natural browse that we actually trim from our trees here in Como Park as needed. So we got some mulberry here, box elder, ash, and then I'm also giving them some banana leaves, which is something that they would actually get in Africa. These banana leaves actually came from our conservatory, which is pretty cool. So thank you, horticulture staff. Our gorillas appreciate you. Did you get? Oh. Alright, so now that our gorilla friends are happily foraging and munching away, I want to tell you a little bit about World Gorilla Day and why we're here. So World Gorilla Day, today is actually the 4th annual World Gorilla Day, and it was chosen because it's the anniversary of the Karasuk Research Center in Africa, which is operated by the Dian Fossey Gorilla Fund International. It was founded in 1967, so the first ever World Gorilla Day in 2017 was the 50th anniversary of the center. So now at 54 years and counting, that makes it the longest running gorilla field study site that's dedicated to conservation, protection, and study of gorillas in their natural habitats in Africa. So World Gorilla Day was created to basically just spread greater awareness of all 4 subspecies of gorillas, including western lowland gorillas, which is the species that we have here at Como Zoo. So a little background about gorillas in general. There's 4 different subspecies of gorillas, and they're all from Africa. Those subspecies are mountain gorillas, growers gorillas, cross river gorillas, and western lowland gorillas. Western lowland gorillas, like I said, is a species that we have here at Como, and they're the species that you would typically see in zoos. So in the wild, they typically live in either bachelor groups or family groups, consisting of anywhere from 2 to 30 individuals. So that's actually very similar to the groupings that we have here. We have the 1 family group and the 1 bachelor group. So these guys are considered herbivores, eating mostly greens and other vegetation. So you can tell they're quite in heaven with these browse items that I've given them today. So you can also see their big bellies. So that's actually pretty common for gorillas because of all the vegetation that they're eating. It takes a lot of work to digest all that plant matter. So a lot of the times when you visit Como, you'll see our gorillas either foraging around for food, if it was after a feeding, or you'll see them resting. So that's pretty normal for gorillas. They typically have smaller home ranges with an average distance traveled per day to be usually only less than a mile, which isn't that far. Their biggest incentive to travel farther distances is actually in high fruiting seasons, because they do really love fruit. It's just not very easy for them to get with their higher body sizes. So therefore they will travel farther to get more fruit, but otherwise they like to kind of stay in their immediate home range. So with that said, mature males can range anywhere from 350 to 600 pounds, which is quite a range, and the females range anywhere from 150 to 250. So that range depends a lot on their genetics. In the wild, their typical lifespan is actually only into their 30s, while under human care they can live into their 50s or lower 60s even. Females are mature around 6 to 9 years old, while males are mature around 8 to 12 years old. One question I get a lot actually about male gorillas is what makes them silverback gorilla. Juvenile males are called blackbacks and actually don't develop that silver hair on their backs until they're about 13 to 14 years old, which is closer to when they reach their full-grown adult size. So all adult males in the end are considered silverbacks, whether they have a family group or not. That's why our 3 bachelor boys that we have here at Como have that silvery hair on their back, even though they're not housed with females, because they're all 21 years old. So now to the best part, our gorillas here at Como. So I'll actually start over here with our bachelor group. And because he's up front and center, I'll start with Virgil here. We have 3 bachelor boys here in our bachelor group: Virgil, Jabir, and Samson. So our 3 boys range in weight from about 370 to 420 pounds. Virgil here is about 4'10", and he's the most curious of all of our boys. Like I said, they were all 21 years old, so go back to that. But yeah, he's the most curious of all of our gorilla boys. He likes to sit up front and watch the people mostly. So he's not our dominant male, but he does like to challenge Samson a lot, who is our dominant male. Samson, I believe, is around the corner. Virgil might go bug him a bit and get him to move, or he could have gone inside. That's also very possible. So Jabir here, I'll go to him. He's about 420 pounds and he's the least dominant male, but he definitely does push his weight around sometimes, as you can see. Samson and Jabir actually were born only 5 days apart, which is pretty cool. They're a really good cohesive bachelor group that we have here at Como. All right, now on to our family group. Schroeder, up front and center, eating his banana leaf. So Schroeder here, he's 34, almost 35 years old, and he's around 492 pounds. So that's where you can see Samson is about 370 and Schroeder's 490. So that's more than 100 pounds larger. So it really does depend on their body size and their genetics with that. So he is the dad. He's a silverback to our 2 juvenile females in this group. Otherwise, we have 3 adult females in this group: Eni, Alice, and Dara. Eni's the one that's her typical spot underneath that tree trunk there. She loves sitting there. She gets some shade and she has a place to lean her back against. But she's 32 years old and she's what I like to say, is a surrogate aunt to our little juveniles, Arlene and Nayati. So if we come on over here, our littlest girl, so that's our sweet girl Nayati. She's 2, almost 3 years old in mid-October. She's quite a sassy little infant, but she's really fun to work with. Right behind her is her mom, Alice, and Alice is 18 years old. And then behind her, you can see Arlene. So she's our 5-year-old female. So she's Dara's offspring. And Dara is right down here. She's sitting on the vine. Right down there. Yeah. And Dara is 17 years old. So when they're not busy eating browse, Arlene and Nayati most typically are running around playing and having all sorts of fun. There's Schroeder sitting atop his hill, watching his kingdom. So western lowland gorillas are considered critically endangered, even though their numbers are estimated to be a little over 100,000 individuals. So the reason that they're still considered critically endangered, even though that number is actually pretty high, is because of the rapid decline that their population is experiencing due to poaching, disease, and habitat loss. So some things that you can do from here is you can donate your old electronics like your cell phones. There's a mineral called coltan that's used in cell phones and other electronics, and it's mined in gorilla territory. So by recycling your cell phones, you're lowering that demand for more coltan. Another big thing that you can do is simply visit us here at Como. AZA accredited facilities like ours do so much for conservation here and abroad. And by visiting, you're supporting our facility and our programs that directly tie to conservation. So thanks to donors and Como friends, I was actually fortunate enough to receive a grant to travel to Gabon, Africa, and work with a local rescue and rehab project called Projet Gorille for Non-Vaz. So just being able to travel to Africa and see all the work that still needs to be done in regard to conservation was very humbling. And I was proud to do my part by working with an amazing project on the ground in Africa. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to Como Live, our special World Gorilla Day edition of Como Live. Just a reminder, Como Zoo is open right now for reservations, so please go on to Como's website and make those reservations and come visit us. I know our gorillas would love to see you. Thanks and have a great day.